Here's the next one. Yes, the brake lights are on. This one's going through a restoration at the moment, so I've just got to tweak the brake light switch up in here. But this is actually being done by a business out in Rangiora. So this has just come to us for a whole lot of mechanical repairs. As you can see, it's riding high. That's because it's got new cones in it. So I will now get this one dialed in. You will notice that the fan is on backwards. Obviously pretty hard to see at the moment, but once I've shut it off you'll be able to see that.
You just put the studs in. You put the studs in out before you put the head on?
Yes.
Do the studs need, do those, I've never fitted studs, do they need to be torqued? You just wind them in?
There are instructions in the box. I do believe you've just got to nip them up by hand, but double check that. Anyway, so got the cap off it, and that nut there is loose, so that's all wobbling around as free as can be. I'll sort that out. So I'm just going through the ignition system on this. I've taken the spark plugs out, and as you can see, they're discoloured, fouled up. To be fair, we have been driving in and out of the workshop, so it hasn't had a lot of hot runs. So, you know, it's probably not a true colour. It's probably definitely not a true colour, but they're also CP6ES, so even the wrong heat range as well. So that'll get a set of BP5ES spark plugs as well. Just going to check the ignition coil, make sure the resistance isn't high or too low. What have we got there? We've got a 1.5 ohm coil, which would be fine if we had a ballast resistor or a ballast wire, but we do not, so I'm going to have to put a 3 ohm coil on this, because that will just end up frying the points or the condenser or either. So I can't be having that. I've also had to change out the vacuum advance. You'll see the new one, because the diaphragm in this one had let go. And I use this to test them. Anyway, we'll carry on. Alright, that's the new 3 ohm coil on there. The vacuum advance is done. The points are set to 12 thousandths of an inch. 25 thou gaps on the BP5ES spark plugs. New leads, because these leads over here, one mismatched, and then they've got one of the leads had 27 k ohms, where these leads here are 1.4 k ohms. The coil lead, which I haven't plugged in because it was the last one I've put on, which is somewhere here. Here it is. That was 2 k ohms, so a vast improvement on the ignition system. So as long as we've got the correct voltage coming out of the alternator going into the coil once it's running, then yeah, obviously this system is basically optimized. But anyway, we'll carry on, we'll get the ignition timing sorted out, and carry on with the churn, and then once that side of it's all dialed in, we can get over to here. Right, as you can see, I've got it running. Go back to the gauge really quick and see it's floating around, so that would indicate a worn distributor shaft. So it's actually causing the points to open and close at different rates. So realistically, that distributor should be replaced for a new distributor. Or what you could probably do is fit an electronic ignition kit to it with a Hall effect sensor, or the magnetic pickup. That way, it kind of it eliminates the dwell angle fluctuating so much. So I could probably bring that down in the gap a little bit more, but as you can see, it's diving every now and then. It's going into the 30s, so whatever I do here, it's not going to really improve it that much. Yeah, see, there we go. doing it all again. So anyway, that's as best as that's going to be. So not quite optimised, but it's closer than what it was. So I mean, I can go back to the customer, well, you know, the outfit who's doing the restoration on this car, and you know, say, you know, we could improve on this, but they probably might not want to at this stage. They'll probably just go back to their customer. But anyway, that's besides the point. So I'm just going through the ignition timing on it. As you can see, I've got the idle timing without the vacuum advance connected, set to 10 degrees, all in at 4,000. I've got 31, which is probably absolutely fine for this engine, considering it's all standard. Yeah, standard manifolds and everything. So yeah, I'm quite happy with the curve on it. I'm just going to rev it up now and see what it's doing total with the vacuum advance too. 52 degrees with the vacuum advance. I'm really happy with that. More than enough. I'll just make sure that's going to settle back down nicely. It is. I didn't even adjust that. Nice. Onto the carb. Sorry, excuse me while I clear my throat. Anyway, I've got the analyzer all hooked up. I have not touched the idle mixture. Nice. So we'll get on the adjuster nut now. And we'll just a bit of sound deadening cordon behind it as well. Like this. Might be a little bit too far. Let's just get it about 13.9, 14, yeah, thereabouts. I'll zoom that in. And we'll go through the rev range. I bet you the needle that's in that is an ADE. Anyway, we'll get that out. Let's see what's going on. Well, regarding that needle, you can't see it, but it's definitely an ADE. So that's why it went so lean. Anyway, needle hunting. So anyway, we've got an AAE needle into it now, and I've actually put oil in the dash pot just for testing purposes because it was dry. So that wasn't going to help the situation, something I should have checked beforehand, but good to know that it wasn't actually that bad without the oil in it. So anyway, that's only had a needle change, so that's why it's important to baseline. Hello, Will. Lean that back out again. Come on. Running out of adjustment. Yeah. Wandering around a wee bit, isn't it? A couple of things could be causing that, so I won't go into detail just yet. Let's see what this does. still quite lean. So evidently not the right needle. Next needle option, and obviously I haven't baselined it, then jet tube is still in the same place. So again, just to show you how much of a change that can be. So I'll now richen that up. So I'm now using one of AC Dodd's AFA needles, just to see what this is going to do. Let's get around 13, there we are. Don't worry about it going into the 11s, I'll address that later. Pretty close. I think there might still be some room for improvement. Yeah, about 3.7, it's a little bit rich. Other than that, it was pretty close, so I'll take that needle out and see if there's one that's going to be a little bit closer that I can modify. You'll notice it's not running. Just as I was doing the damper tuning, it went lean and stalled out. Wouldn't start again. Let's see if I can show you in the float bowl. Some lovely crustiness in there. And that is why you fit a fuel filter. So I'm gonna have to pull that carburetor off it now and go right through that. First I'll ring the customer and let them know what's going on with it, just so they're in the loop, and we'll just go from there. So close, but I'm glad that it's happened to me and not the customer while I've been driving it, because obviously that would look really bad on my part, but obviously it would mean that I hadn't gone through the system. But in saying that, unforeseeable, but yeah, that's why you fit a fuel filter. So I've taken that carburetor off. As you can see, it's running. All I've done is take it off, take the float bowl lid off, basically cleaned it right out, blew it right out. I didn't go, overzealous with it. There's a wee bit of fuel sitting on top, but that's because I've got the gauge sitting on it, which, as you'll see, is sitting at about 4 psi. So it's about, maximum, they need to be 1.5. So I'm going to put a fuel pressure regulator in this, which will include a fuel filter. So that will obviously do 2 jobs. Basically to protect the carburetor from doing that sort of thing again if it sits for a long time and gets sucked up from the fuel tank. I've talked to the customer, so he was okay with that. But what he wants me to do is he wants me to go from the 3 ohm coil and the points to an electronic ignition kit. So that will be, I'll fit one of those kits first, see what the dwell angle is doing. If it's fixed, I will leave the 3 ohm coil there. If it's variable, then I'll change it out for a 1.5 ohm coil. But I'm just going through making sure that I can get the churn a lot closer, so that when I go and do this sort of stuff, there's not a great deal of difference in the end result. But anyway, I'll carry on. So I'll show you what the fuel mixture is doing at the moment. So I'll just really slowly, I'll try and use a really steady hand. Any harsh movement on it will obviously try and make it go rich. I've still got a wee bit of a few tweaks to do on the damper. So yeah, I've still got to put the fuel pressure regulator in. I'll then put the airbox on, make sure that that's not changing the readings too much. Obviously, take this off as well. That's only for testing purposes, naturally. I'll still put the other. I'll put the electronic ignition unit into it and then recheck that. I'll probably just do that stuff off camera, but I mean, we'll see how we go. But at the moment, we're looking pretty good. So yeah, couple more tweaks to do, and then we're done. So we're just packing up for the evening, but I just thought I'd show you what Will's been doing while I've been working on that one. He is putting the cylinder head on this one because it's had a couple of issues. Can't quite tell you what the issue is at all. So naturally the head's been sent away, the radiator's been sent away, we've got all that sort of all that side of it sorted out. We have also rebuilt the carburetor, which is sitting right there. And then I will be going through the tune with Will, basically to, show him how it all happens. Very high chance we'll take the distributor out and recurve that as well on the machine, which I'll quickly show you. Stumble over everything in this corner. So there's the distributor machine. You can see I've got one in here at the moment. This is basically the bare bones of it. But yeah, this is one that I'm doing just for stock. Anyway, that's enough. Start putting cars away. Right, it's the next day. So I've been working away on the yellow Mini. As you can see, I've got a Filter King Malpassi fuel pressure regulator with filter in there. I've got it set to 1 PSI, 1.2 PSI. You can see it fluctuates every now and then just as it builds back up. It spikes at about 2.8, which is a lot safer than the 4.5 to 5 PSI I was having. I've had the distributor out and I've put a electronic ignition kit in that. It is a fixed dual kit, so it will be retaining the 3 ohm ignition coil. So I've retimed this as well. So now I'll get back into finishing off the damper tuning and getting that side of it all finished off. But we're really close. Okay, fair to say I'm getting rather pedantic with it, but get the picture. Basically, this one's all done and dusted, ready for a drive. Thought I'd quickly mention the needle was actually ended up being an ABD that was modified. I'll put some photos up as well. You can also see that I'd carried out some damper modifications too. So anyhow, I'll go take this for a drive now, see what it's like. Right, so we're back. It's about 6 weeks later with the little yellow Mini, and the customer, well, the trade customer rang up stating that the jet tube was sticking. This lovely thing. So a couple of ways to resolve that, but considering the overall condition of the carburetor, it was just the best option was just to fully go through and recondition it. So it's, as you can see, it's well, that's no longer in it, so that's been replaced with a brand new one. New throttle shaft as well, bushes, that's all been done, so we'll go over and see that. So it's just warming up now. Now, from memory, because the bowl was full of sediment, but yeah, had throttle shaft play in it as well, so that's all been rectified. So really, just see what's been done to the tune now, just by going through all of that and sorting out the basically sorting out the idle mixture and making sure that it's not running too rich now or lean. So I'll get the analyzer all hooked up to that, and we'll see what's changed, or if anything's changed. As you can see, I've just got the analyzer hooked up to it. See the fuel is still wandering around a wee bit, so I'll nearly be putting that down to the valve sealing, you know, like an overlap kind of issue. But I'm not overly concerned with that. And I'm just setting the idle mixture just to make it a little bit cleaner. Basically just getting it to the point where it's at its misfire limit. So anyway, we'll go up to the rev range. Definitely a little bit richer there. Little bit on the lean side, which is kind of to be expected because the new jet tube is narrower, not having so much wear in the middle. So I'll just tell you I'll show you what I mean. So as the floating needle goes up and down in the center of the jet tube, it actually wears it out, so it actually makes the mixture richer. So where I've got it set to now with the new jet tube means that it's going to be running leaner. As we've seen at that about 3,000 to 5,000, it's just a little bit lean, so I'll modify that needle a little bit more, correct that, and I think I'm going to have to do a wee bit more modifications to the damper because it's now that little bit richer, because it doesn't have all these vacuum leaks like the throttle shafts. So, well, the throttle shaft not leaking. So I'll go through and rectify all this. And yeah, make it as it should be again. Well, that's that one all dialed in once again. So yeah, I mean, realistically, that carburetor should have been reconditioned last time it was in. Yeah, obviously, we didn't do that. So the customer was kind of forced into this by the car itself. But this is now all ready to rock and roll. Oh, this can now go out, and yes, we realise that the radiator fan is on backwards as well. But yes, anyway, that's my job done for this one, once again.